Betrayal doesn't always crash in like thunder. Sometimes it slips in quietly, wrapped in the ordinary rhythm of life, wearing the scent of a perfume that once made your heart skip. It can sit across from you at the dinner table, ask how your day went with a practiced calm, all while concealing a truth that's already dismantling your foundation. I discovered this when my wife admitted she was leaving me for someone else, someone younger. There were no raised voices, no dramatic outbursts, just a calm admission and the faint trail of her fragrance lingering long after she walked out. What she didn't know was that I wasn't going to fall apart. I had one last move, one she wouldn't expect. It was an ordinary Tuesday evening. Work had been exhausting. Reports piled up, traffic crawled. On the way home, I picked up her favorite Thai curry, thinking maybe it could soften the distance that had been silently growing between us. I'd noticed it for months, a gradual disconnect. I hoped a small gesture might close the space. But when I stepped into the house, I felt it instantly, a stillness that wasn't peaceful but heavy. Her car was in the driveway, yet the lights were dim, the silence thick, broken only by the hum of the refrigerator. I called out, "Layla." She was in the dining room, dressed with unusual care for a weeknight, an emerald green dress, her makeup flawless, curls cascading around her shoulders. For a fleeting moment, I thought maybe she planned a surprise evening. Then I saw the suitcase near the stairs. She turned, a void in my eyes, her fingers nervously twisting. "We need to talk," she said, her voice firm but detached. My heart sank. I set the food on the table, trying to keep my tone neutral. "All right." We didn't sit. We stood, separated not by furniture, but by something far less visible, an emotional chasm we both knew was real. She spoke plainly. She was leaving. She had met someone else. The words didn't explode. They landed softly, but the weight of them knocked the breath from my lungs. My mind reeled while I tried to appear composed. "He's 26, she added. "His name is Noah. We've been together for a while. He understands me." Everything slowed. I felt like I was watching my own life from outside myself. "How long?" I asked. She paused. "Too long. Almost a year. A full year. 12 months of pretending. Of sharing a home. Of laughing at shows. Of quiet mornings and evening meals. While she disappeared into someone else's arms." I ran my hand down my face, nodding slowly. And then I surprised us both. I didn't yell. I didn't ask her to stay. I met her eyes and said, "If that's what you want, I hope he gives you what you're looking for." She blinked, clearly unprepared for my reaction. "You're not angry?" she asked. I shook my head. "I'm not going to stand in your way. If this is your choice, then make it." The script she had prepared crumbled. I walked to the door and opened it. Without another word, she picked up her suitcase and left. The only sound was the soft rumble of her luggage wheels as they moved across the floor. That night, I didn't break things. I didn't drink myself into oblivion. I just sat there in the quiet house, letting memories pass like distant echoes. Our wedding, late-night drives, her laugh on summer evenings. I expected pain to consume me, but instead, I felt something unexpected, release, a lightness I hadn't known in years. The days that followed were quiet. I moved like a shadow through our home, boxing up her things, not out of bitterness, but because her presence lingered in every corner, in the spaces where love used to live. The silence wasn't hollow, it was cleansing. And then I realized something deeper. I didn't just want out of the marriage. I wanted out of the entire life I had built around it. The routines, the stress, the stale comfort. I needed to begin again. Within a month, I made my move. I resigned from my job, sold the house, emptied my accounts, and cut off all the loose ends. No announcements, no dramatic goodbyes. I just vanished. I found myself in a quiet coastal village 3 hours south. The air was salty and alive, the days slow and unhurried. I rented a modest cabin from an older woman named Marjorie, who ran the local bookstore. She needed help fixing shelves and lighting. I needed work that didn't demand suits or spreadsheets. Each morning, I walked along the shore before dawn, the waves crashing, the wind cutting through me like truth. I felt alive again, not just surviving, but beginning to rebuild. Not just shelves, but myself. I started running. Short at first, then longer stretches across the cliffs. I cleaned up my eating, took care of my body. My hands grew stronger, my mind clearer, and slowly Layla's image faded. I wasn't trying to forget her. I was simply learning to live without her. 10 months later, I uploaded a single photo online. Just me, standing by a bookshelf I had built, the ocean in the background. No words, no explanation, just a quiet moment of clarity. That night, she messaged me. "You look incredible. Where are you? Can we talk?" I didn't answer. A week passed, then another message. I made a mistake. Noah wasn't who I thought he was. I lost the one person who truly knew me. Still, I said nothing. The final message came. "I'm so sorry. I wish I could undo it." But there was nothing left to fix. My life had moved forward. A year to the day since she left, I returned to the city for a friend's engagement party. It was crowded, vibrant, music and laughter spilling from every corner. I wore a suit that fit like it had been made for the man I had become. And then, by the bar, I saw her. "Layla." She looked over and froze for a second. Then she walked up, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hi," she said. "You look—" "I know," I replied with a gentle smile. "I didn't think you'd be here," she added. "Neither did I, but I'm glad I came." She paused and murmured, "I'm sorry for everything." I nodded. "You don't owe me anything. We both made our decisions." Her voice cracked a little. "You never replied to my messages." "I didn't need to," I said quietly. She studied me, as though trying to find the man she once loved. But he wasn't there anymore. "You've changed," she whispered. I nodded, smiling. That was the point. And then I walked away. She thought it was over when she left. But my story began the moment I let her go. The day I chose to build a life that was entirely my own.